How y'all doing? I would say I'm fashionably late, but that would be a lie. That would be a lie. Um, it's like, dang, do I want to tell y'all what I was doing? I was consoling a very dear prospect of mine. And sometimes you have to be there for someone emotionally, and it kind of caught me off guard. So I apologize. Um, but when somebody is like talking and it's like you don't want to interrupt because it's like, oh, so yeah. Let's get into this. I'm really excited to talk about this, you guys, because I'm a late bloomer. If you didn't know, I'm a late bloomer, and uh, I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, being a late bloomer to me has been an adventure. A late adventure. It's like, girl, I just got late to the party, but it's still an adventure. And I think this is something that we need to talk more about. And honestly, this live is to just give you perspective. I'm not trying to be your mama. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, honey, okay? At the end of the day, you have free will. You can do what you feel is best for you. It's just perspective. It's just perspective. Okay. Also, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm not embarrassed by me being a late bloomer. I'm not. And the reason is because later in life, you'll see how there are pros to being a late bloomer, but there are also cons. And then you'll also see how there's pros to being a non-late bloomer, but then there's also some cons as well. And at first, I think when I realized that I was a late bloomer, coming to the realization that, the grass isn't magically greener on the other side of this whole late bloomer conversation, you'll start to see how a lot of people say, oh, I have trauma and everything like that. But I just want to say that nothing in this life is guaranteed. So to make it seem like you could just go through life avoiding things and nothing will happen to you is just not realistic. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to read the definition for what a late bloomer is. A late bloomer is a person whose talents or capabilities are not visible to others until later than usual. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there because so many people are like, they look at me today, they're like, wow, she's so different. Wow, I would have never thought that. Also, fun fact, to the late bloomers that are out here, I also want to say that there are a lot of famous people that happen to be late bloomers. I think that is so interesting to me. There are just a lot of late bloomers that happen to be famous. Never knew that. Anyway, let's get into today's video. I'm going to go ahead. Somebody said I bloomed late at 30. Interesting. Oh, I'm excited about this. I'm going to go ahead and play my intro, and then I'll be back for my commentary. Hey boos, in this video, I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it. Cause I'm a boss. Oh, hell no. Okay, so we are back. Okay, some things that I want to address before we get into this reaction video, because I was being nosy earlier today and I was reading some of y'all's comments in my chat box before the live got started, and I wanted to address some things that really stuck out to me, being that I am a late bloomer. I lost my virginity when I was 27 years old, mainly because I tell the story all the time that people thought I was a hoe. People thought I was a ho. So I kept it to myself for years because when you're thicker, people label you promiscuous. So in my younger years, I didn't date. I wasn't even allowed to date. Okay. My daddy had me locked up in the house, if I'm being completely honest. It was school, sports, camps, school, sports, camps, tutoring, and that was it. Um, I grew up in a very strict household, very, very, very strict. And I just wasn't allowed to just come and go and do as I please. And wait a minute. And the reason mainly is because, my dad had this fear because of some of the women in his family, and I'm not going to say no names, but a lot of them were single mothers. And so he did not want me to become that. Oh, I missed this super chat. Oh, someone said, "Oh, the story of the late bloomer. I didn't bloom until I was 30, or until it was 22. Until I was 22. I'm 24 now. It's a double-edged sword. Yes, it is. I'm gonna get into that honestly, but it's been a little on the incline. I hope it doesn't stop. Mine has definitely been on the incline, but I'm gonna get into that. Hold on. Okay, let me finish my story. Um, I mean, I'll take 25 if you think I'm 25. That's cool with me too. I mean, what's good? Um, Somebody said 27 is still blooming. Well, thank you, sis. I appreciate that. But the reason why it turned out this way for me, it wasn't really on purpose. I did not plan on like holding on to my virginity for religious reasons or anything like that. It was just when I was younger, I had a strict father. That was number one. So he didn't allow me to date. He didn't allow me to do anything. Honestly, like absolutely nothing. If I got caught on the phone with a boy, it was give me your phone. I'll never forget when I was younger, I had to put my cell phone on my parents' dresser as soon as I got home. He did not play that. Like there was no texting in my bedroom, like none of that. There was no texting. There was no texting, honey. You had to put your phone on the dresser, and that was it. And so I couldn't socialize. When I got home, it was lockdown. I'm laughing about it, but that was my early childhood. So, when it came to dances and prom, I never went. I never went to a prom. I never went to a dance. I never went to any of that. And, basically my parents, they really kept me isolated. And that kind of trickled into my adult life in my early 20s in a horrible way. Horrible way. I don't recommend that parents do this at all because socialization is just as important as education. Socialization and interacting with other people, boys, girls, is so important. Now, for me, my experience was a little bit different. My dad, like I had a lot of interactions with boys because I played on all boys basketball teams. So it wasn't that I didn't know how to socialize with the opposite sex or anything like that. Like honestly, I can always stir up a conversation with the opposite sex. Like it's really not a big deal just because I've always been around them in a very like sporty way or friendly way. Like I've been friends with a lot of men throughout my life. So that was something that luckily I did have, but I know there are some women out here that don't even have that. I also grew up in I mean, you could call my dad religious if you want to. I just think the man had it. He didn't want me to be a single mother, y'all. That's it. I mean, we can say it's religion. It was because he did not want me to be a single mother. That is it. Because that is all he saw at the time, and he didn't want me to end up like that. So his way of reacting to that was to lock me up. Do I agree with it? No. But then again, I don't have any kids. So I guess it is what it is. I'm gonna get into that, but that was his reason. He locked me up because he didn't want me to be a single mother. And to any men out here, I do not advise that you do that, because I was put in some very awkward situations trying to rebel up against what he was doing, being so strict. So yeah, he didn't want me to be a single mother. And to be honest, when I look back, I mean, like, all the women in my family, they got pregnant very young. And so he was trying to prevent that from happening. So his way of doing it was control. Okay. So yeah. And then I had a nice body. That was another thing. I had a very nice body, and that just killed this man. I will never forget when I turned 8, he set me down and he was like, come here. No, come here. He set me down. And I kid you not. He's sitting right here. I'm sitting right here. He's on the couch. I'm on the couch. We're sitting down face to face. He said, men are only going to want you for sex. They're only going to want you for sex. They're not going to want you for anything but sex. Sex. Yeah, sex. They're only going to want you for sex. And I said, damn, really? So, I mean, 8. And I started to develop fairly young. I was an early bloomer when it came to my body. So that was another thing. So I'm like, okay, like, when you're 8 years old, you really don't understand. But then when you start having experiences with men, now that you are developing, you're like, dang, maybe my dad is right. Maybe they only want me for sex. So I just avoided men earlier in my younger, I would say my adolescence, my early adult years, teenage years, and everything. I just avoided them romantically at all. I was just more platonic. But yeah, that's what he said. He said, men are only going to want you for sex. Yeah. I mean, broke my heart at 8. And you know what's crazy about the situation is, like, okay, but like, why y'all allowing me to watch these princess movies and stuff if men just gonna want me for sex? So yeah, I was an early bloomer when it came to my body, but I was a late bloomer when it came to socialization. Just throwing that out there, okay? And the reason why I intentionally was a late bloomer, because shoot, after a while I started to believe my dad. I'm like, maybe men only want me for sex. So yeah, that crushed me. I was wait, I was a virgin at 20 when I got married. I wasn't allowed to date young or go on solo dates. As a young adult, I have a Caribbean religious family. I'm gonna just start throwing y'all's because I want to get through this, y'all. We ain't even got to the video. I'm gonna put this on the screen. I'm gonna put y'all super chat on the screen. Okay, let me get through the background. Okay, so that's my upbringing. That's my upbringing. Now, if people are a little confused about my rape that took place when I was a freshman in college, that was anal. Okay. And there are conversations that I have shared with gay men who have been molested that I relate to. So if you're confused on that, I'm just telling you what it is. So even though after that experience, I wasn't penetrated, and this is just me being honest with you guys, because I wasn't penetrated vaginally, I still considered myself a virgin. So if you're confused on that, I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. And I'm just going to say that and move on because I get emotional talking about it. But there are gay men that I have had conversations with that have been molested when they were younger and things like that. And we have had conversations offline that I can actually relate to. So, so those that are confused on that. Okay. Which was very damaging for someone that's a late bloomer, you guys. So if there's anyone that can relate to that, just understand I can relate. Okay. So next, relationships. I just wanted to talk about how relationships they're not everything when you romanticize them beyond reality. And when you're a late bloomer, you think avoidance is a solution. You think isolating yourself is a solution. You think avoidance is a solution. And actually it's like a double-edged sword, like someone mentioned earlier in this live. It's like, but you're missing out. You're missing out on experience. You're missing out on developing emotional skills that you need. You're missing out on developing just certain interactions, social skills with the opposite sex, that you need. And I see a lot of women in the comment section before this live started. They really thought that, they were doing themselves some type of service by just being in this isolation or avoidance energy. And actually, it's going to come back to bite you. And I wanted to talk about that. But I wanted to make it known that relationships are not everything when you romanticize them beyond reality. So when you romanticize them beyond reality, meaning, you think relationships are not going to have their problems or their issues, or you put them on such a high pedestal to where you think things are always just going to go smoothly, or you think that things are always going to go your way. That's not reality. That's not realistic. And so you compare these relationships that you see that are toxic, that's like within your family, or just Black struggle love, or it's not reality. It's not reality, you guys. Especially when you romanticize them as that you're never going to have issues. And that's something that I had to learn on my own. Also, and I'm not saying that you should sign up for a toxic relationship. There just needs to be balance. You have to understand that when you get into a relationship with someone, this includes friends as well, that they have a shadow side, and you have to look at them and realize that they are human just like you. They're going to make mistakes just like you, and that you shouldn't put them on such a high pedestal or romanticize them so highly to the point where you take away the fact that they are human. They are just like you. They have a shadow side. They make mistakes. Okay. That does not mean you should stay in a toxic relationship. That does not mean that you should put up with domestic violence or anything like that. That is not what I'm getting at. Okay. I also want to say that someone said that earlier relationships, someone said that it gave them trauma, and I wanted to say that so did your early childhood. Okay. You have to understand that in the life that we live in, there's going to be trauma. There's going to be trauma. You can have a baby, you can get pregnant tomorrow, have a baby 9 months, 10 months later, and experience trauma from postpartum. It's life. What you need to focus on is become a master at healing. Become a master at healing. Because avoidance is not going to help you. Isolating yourself is not going to help you. It's only going to stunt your growth, because you need these experiences. If not, you're just going to stay stuck and stagnant and isolated and unhappy. And I really felt like I had to tell you guys that. Someone said my early relationships in my life gave me trauma. And I'm like, so did so many other things, so don't be such a narrow-minded thinker. Like, just really think about it from a bigger picture, or a bird's eye view, that a lot of things in your earlier adulthood or childhood gave you trauma. Okay. My daddy having me locked up. I'm locked up. They won't let me out, y'all. I'm locked up. They won't let me out. That is, if I could think about my childhood, that was it. So I'm just like, okay, so why should I fear relationships if, hell, my own father, gave me some trauma? You know what I mean? So it's just like, you have to master the art of healing, because you're constantly going to be going through things. Okay. You can get married, do everything right, and experience some trauma. Okay. You need to master the art of healing. And I talked about that a little bit in my previous video. You can't always prevent bad things from happening to you. So if you master the art of healing, you can face anything. You can do anything. You can go anywhere. You can see anybody. You can anything that comes your way, you know how to handle it. But this avoidance, this isolation, this lack of experiences is not helping. It's not. It's not. It's stunning your growth. And that is why I'm making this video. So, if you don't learn nothing else from this video, okay, avoidance equals stunting your growth. Mastering healing and understanding that you can't always prevent bad things from happening to you will guide you along a path of so much wisdom. And you get to live. That staying in the house, isolating yourself, avoiding yourself, staying in your dorm room, isolating yourself, of avoiding things and situations and people, that's not helping you. And I don't advise that at all. And I see that a lot in my comment section. In that isolation and avoidance, it causes depression, you guys. We have to be serious and real about this. It can cause depression. Yes, I've been in therapy. I highly recommend therapy. So I'm going to go ahead and start this video because I really wanted to. Somebody said, damn, you calling me out. Listen, I'm calling out my 19-year-old self, if I'm being completely honest. My 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I'm low-key talking to my younger self, y'all. So if I could be someone that I needed for me when I was younger, oh my gosh, I'm being that for you guys right now, okay? And the reason why I'm saying these things is because I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to get in this frenzy when you turn 30 and you're realizing how, this isolation and avoidance and how it has caused you to miss out on a lot. And, it takes confidence and it takes you building your self-esteem to put yourself out here to learn. And this is why I always tell you guys, when you go out on a dating scene, don't be so hung on trying to find a man and settle down. Like, just go to learn more about yourself. Learn about more about you. Not trying to get a man and, doing it for these social construct reasons. Like, do it for you. Learn more about you. And you may learn that, marriage is not for me. You may learn that, traditionalism is not for me. I'm not telling you to go and do it so you can live the traditional life. I'm telling you to go do it so you can learn more about who you are, so you can find your true identity, because you're not going to find it locked up behind four walls. Okay. I'm just telling you that now. I have learned so much about myself as a woman, like stepping into my womanhood by simply getting out here more, putting myself out here more. And yes, there are times where I go by myself. Now, I'm not telling you to start off there. Okay. You need to build yourself up. I had to build myself up. Okay. To get to this point where I can even go to a bar or go out to eat by myself, if that's what I wanted to do. Baby steps. Okay. You have to crawl before you can walk, but you have to start somewhere. Okay. You have to start somewhere. I know I'm about to step into my 30s. People ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. You're not gonna be able to tell me nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I want you guys to have this same level of confidence. I want you to have this same level of understanding and outlook on life moving forward, because that isolation and avoidance, we need to come out of that. And I know COVID, I know for a lot of y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I had slipped back into some old habits and I had to snap out of it. That's why I moved to Texas. So it's just something to think about. This is all about perspective. I'm not telling y'all how to live your lives, okay? I'm just saying that I have learned that isolation and avoidance, it actually stunts your growth. You need experiences. And I learned that from my parents, unfortunately. When they locked me up in the house, they were not helping me. And I hope parents that are watching this, that you understand that education is important, but so is socialization skills. Okay, allow your kids to go to dances. If you do allow them to date at 16, 15 or 16 years old, chaperone it. No one is saying that, you're just allowing them to be free, just doing whatever, but like monitor it, to where they are still getting those experiences in order for them to be set up properly for socialization once they enter the dating world in their adult life. There are so many women that are entering the dating world or the adult dating world, and they don't even know what to do, because either they didn't get the experience when they were younger, strict parents, strict household, or maybe they just weren't pushed to put themselves out there, whatever the case may be. And it's like, it's hurting them. It's not helping you. That is true. Sometimes isolation happens because no one was checking for them. That is true. No one was checking for me. It's okay. It's okay. But before, one more thing, I have to ask, for the people that feel that way, are you willing to do what it takes to be seen? That's what I want to. Are you willing to do what it takes to be seen? And there's layers to this conversation. Are you willing to do what it takes to be seen? Number one, are you willing to do what it takes to be seen as desirable? That's number two. If the answer is no, that's fine, but you can't expect for your life to be magically different. Because I used to fight this. Y'all know I'm a hardhead, I'm a rebel. Because I'm like, well, I don't like these people, so they don't need to like me. I used to have that mentality. I'm like, I don't care. And especially when your whole younger adult, I mean your whole younger childhood, you're like, I mean, they wasn't paying me no attention now anyway. So why do I need to change myself? You know, but I think it's interesting that people say no, because it's like you willing to go through hoops and jump through, so many challenges when it comes to your job. And I think Black women need to understand that if your job is important, but your personal life isn't, why would you put your job above your personal life? That doesn't make sense. Because your happiness is what truly matters. You shouldn't even be working a job that doesn't really make you that happy. So why do we always neglect our personal life for a career? If you're willing to jump through hoops for school, you're willing to jump through hoops for a career, why wouldn't you do that for your personal life? And I don't even know what your personal life looks like. Because it doesn't always include a man, but it doesn't necessarily include isolation and avoidance. So it's just something to think about. And I'm getting more into that. If you treat your job this way, you should treat your personal life the same or better. It shouldn't be that you treat your career or your professional life better than you treat your personal life, y'all. This is self-care, self-love. How can you love yourself if you put in a job that, listen, if you was to fall out and die, they would replace you probably within a week or so. And you putting that before your personal life? Now that don't make no sense to me. Come on, we not in survival. Thank you. Someone said that is survival. You deserve to live. That's part of Black women in luxury. You deserve to actually live your life. So if you are willing to put yourself out here to get into school and jump through all these hoops and challenges to get into school, why wouldn't you want to do that for your personal life? It may make you happy. It just depends. A man will replace you that fast. That's why you should do it for yourself. If you know that you want a certain life and it requires you to put yourself out there, right? Why not do that? It's just something to think about. But y'all know I ain't gonna ever tell y'all to go do something for a man, because like I said, nothing in this life is guaranteed, and people can be very disappointing. I ain't met a person that wasn't disappointing. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, why? Hold on, y'all. Just give me a sec. Because they saying this is copyrighted. I'm like, copyrighted for what? Let me see what it's copyrighted for. Okay, I'm gonna just have to. I just want y'all to think about this stuff. If and listen, if you're not willing to, put yourself out there to make yourself more, I guess, presentable and acceptable among people to socialize, that's fine. But you can't sit up here and be mad that you're not getting certain experiences though. Because I'm telling y'all now, when I started, I wasn't doing it for anyone but myself, but it was because these were based off of the things that I wanted. It wasn't based off of what other people wanted. Like, I put myself out here and I was willing to do whatever it took to get what I wanted, and it just happened to include to changing myself and making myself more I would say presentable among others. So, I mean, it's your choice. It's not up to me. But I understand some women don't want to do that, and you have every right to do that. You have every right to feel that way. Okay, let me blow this up. Let me go back. I'm like, is my screen sharing? Like, what's going on here? Okay. Hold on. Okay, we about to really get into it. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just had to get all of that off my chest. Hopefully, I wasn't annoying. I mean, maybe a little annoying. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's get into it.
Out, never asked those of us that were never asked out, never asked any dances, never were shown any romantic interest.
I've wanted to make a response to this video for such a long time, but I couldn't find it, so I'm super glad I came across it today. First of all, the effect of not having received romantic validation during your formative years, like to the age of 18 or most likely older, cannot be understated. It's very real and it will mess with you in a very deep, core way. But I actually wanted to talk about how that interacts with dating and entering the dating world as an adult. Dating in the modern age is very casual, but those of us who are late to the game can't treat it as casually as other people can who have had all these experiences in like high school and college and stuff. I don't exactly know a great way to put this, but as an example, I know that if I were to receive flowers from someone or be held by them in a romantic way, there's like a 90% chance that I would just start breaking down crying. Ideally, the person you're dating should be able to take everything in stride, but at the end of the day, they're still a stranger, and that's a lot to put on someone that you don't know.
I am
Now, y'all, hold on. Listen. First of all, let me repeat that there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Okay, we got that out the way. There's nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about. Okay, at all. And if somebody making you feel that way, tell them come see me so we can talk about it. For real, because I wish somebody would. Anyway, I just wanted to say that she spoke nothing but facts. That's number one. And number two, the reason why I'm making this video right now is because y'all, when I first put myself out here, I was so naive and gullible. Y'all, I was so I was so late to the games. This is why I be on here just, going in. I was so late to the game playing and stuff. And so a lot of my commentary is fresh off the brain because I've gone through it personally. Also, this is the number one thing that you're missing out on. Those those emotions. Girl, them emotions. When someone has your emotions dangling, and it's just like, why did I give them my emotions? And so now you have to learn how to deal with that, right? Because you've never dealt with that before. And it's like, oh, but I want my emotions back. And it's like, it's too late. You already gave your emotions. And so now you have to work through the emotional trauma that comes with being a late bloomer. It's a mess. So, like I said, you think you're doing something by being isolated and in this avoidance energy, it is not helping you. Because if you ever at some point in time to decide to put yourself out here, and you guys, when I think about it, I would hate to learn these things in a marriage. I think it could actually put a strain on your marriage. I think it could, because I'm just like, oh my God. And it's because sometimes, yeah, because I tell y'all all the time, you shouldn't tell your partner about your past, because first of all, a lot of these men don't believe you anyway. Going around telling a man you a virgin, they don't care. They don't believe you anyway. So there's nothing to be ashamed about that. Because these men, they're not gonna believe you. Okay, they gonna think you a lie. You lying about your sexual status and everything. But I'm like, who lies about that after like 18? But okay, um, that's another conversation for another day. But it's like, you have to deal with all of these things that are new to you, and it can be overwhelming. It could be overwhelming. And then you think something's wrong with you, and then a lot of these men can easily play you. There's a reason why a lot of men date younger women, and it's because they lack information like this. So if you're a late bloomer and you're dealing with a man that's your age or older, they can easily take advantage of you. So I would like for you guys to get out here and start getting some experience, because you can easily get used and taken advantage of. And you feel that you're doing yourself better service by not putting yourself out here because you're avoiding things, but really it's the other way around, y'all. It's the other way around. And this is just me being honest. It is the other way around. And like I said, when you give your emotions to someone for the first time and then you have to deal with how they just toy with your emotions and how they just tossed them around and threw them around and didn't even appreciate them, and then you have to deal with how to cope, right, and deal with that. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's like, you need to go ahead and go through this now and get it over with, for real. Get it over with. And listen, everybody got to go through it. Even these men. It's not even just women. Even men have to go through it. They do. So it just sucks. Yeah, don't be telling men your personal business. They don't, like I said, they don't believe you anyway. There's a lot of manipulation. There is a lot. There's a lot. There's a lot. Okay, let's continue.
Requesting that scientists do a case study on those of us that were never asked out.
So I watched this video and I think it's relatable and her experiences are valid and stuff. But I think it would be even more interesting if the study was in an intersectional lens, meaning how this might affect people of like different races and stuff. I kind of have a theory that like white women who experience this, it's like they actually really kind of expect that type of romantic validation because they see it all around them in their peers and in media. And as a Black person, though, as a Black woman, you often do not see that, especially if you are in an area where there's not other Black people. And in mainstream media, there's not a ton of that either. So like you don't even really expect it, and you don't necessarily doubt yourself. I mean, you do doubt yourself, but a big part of it is just like, oh, well, I'm not getting this attention because like I'm Black. It's because of my skin color, which is an integral part of your identity. It's funny how we don't have to wonder. We're just like, oh yeah, racism.
That were never.
Okay, that was a lot to dissect. Okay. Did she lie? Her name's Amanda. Hey Amanda, how you doing, sis? Did she lie? I mean, think about it. And listen, I don't blame Black women for wanting to isolate and avoid. I mean, do y'all see the examples out here? I mean, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. It's either we're in a relationship and we in some struggle love, or we're in some trauma. We going through something, you know, or there's this other side where it's the strong, independent Black woman and she lives alone and she has a dog or a pet or something like that. And it's like there's no median. And it's like, well, damn. It's like so a lot of y'all are like, well, okay, well, I'm gonna just keep to myself and I'm not gonna bother nobody and I hope nobody bother me. It's like we're not even giving proper examples for what it looks like to even be in a relationship, to be honest, not a healthy one. So I get why some women are just like, you know. So yes, colorism, texturism. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to do a case study on that. I would like to see what that is for sure. So I get why we're like that, but I don't feel like that helps you too. I don't feel like that benefits you the same either. Okay. It may benefit you to open up your options and date out, still vet men all the same. All men vet all men the same. But I mean, I think if you went out and created your own reality, because there is no blueprint. Who put that there? Yes. There is no blueprint. And I told y'all earlier, I said, I'm never going to sell y'all a dream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. You've been sold a dream your whole life, whether it was a struggle dream or it was, I don't know. I used to watch white romantic or romance movies and read Caucasian romance novels growing up. Okay. I didn't just stick to that hood novel stuff. Even though there was a ton of books that I read, like The Coldest Winter Ever and stuff like that. I did go off on that side for a little while, but then I came back and I was like, oh my God, this other side is way better. But still, it's all a fantasy, all of it, both sides, the hood side and then this other side. It was just a fantasy. And so you kind of get caught up in that. I think you need to create your own reality. I think that, and you know, you can take examples, you can take bits and pieces from relationships that you've seen in your family, the good and the bad, and learn from those experiences, but you have to create your own reality. And the only way you could do that is by getting out there and actually putting yourself out there. You can't do it any other way. You can't go off of what I'm saying. I tell y'all that all the time. You can't just go off. Don't be taking everything that I say. You need to go out here and figure it out. I'm going to tell you to go out here and figure it out. You better go sit at a bar for a few hours and see what happens. Pick up somebody. But I'm not gonna be like, yeah, girl, this is what it is, and this is what it's gonna be for you too. It may not be that way. It may not be like that. I wish life was that simple, where we could just follow a guide, a syllabus, and then just follow everything, and then somehow it turns out the way that we plan. But it don't turn out like that. You have to create your own reality, and the only way you can do that is you have to come out of isolation and avoidance. Okay, let's continue.
Never asked out, never asked any dances, never were shown any romantic interest whatsoever.
Okay, let's chat about this real quickly. That has been my entire experience, and I'm 24 years old. I remember in high school, I was never invited or asked to any dances, homecomings, whatever. I never really dated in college. Male interest just isn't something that comes to me. I've never had a boyfriend, etc. Today, I'm completely fine with the fact that I've never had those experiences. But I remember there being a certain point in my life where it's like, wow, this happens for everyone else. Why isn't it happening for me? So I took that as an opportunity to look at myself less than as a woman, because I wasn't having these beautiful dating life experiences that everyone else around me was having. And I started to doubt myself and who I was. I've moved out of that thought process, and I've realized that that is not the case at all. But those life experiences and not having them really shaped a lot of my thought at one point in time, which wasn't good.
I am requesting that scientists do a case study on those of us that were never asked out.
So who feels that way? The girl that just talked. I don't know who her name was. That is so true. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, girl. Okay, I felt that way too at one point. But again, I'm going to ask you, are you willing to do what it takes? Because listen, you can't have it both ways. Life don't work out like that. I wish it did. I wish we could be in two spaces or in two energies at the same time. But if you're not willing to put your best foot out there, you cannot blame others. Like, you have to want to put your best self out there. I mean, think about it. When we were growing up, a lot of the girls that were considered to be the it girls or the in girls, they put a lot of effort into their daily. And I'm not saying you got to put in the same type of effort, because no one's saying you got to wear a lace front. No one is saying you got to cake on a bunch of makeup. You got to wear false lashes and things. But putting effort into yourself, that you can't avoid that. And I don't care what effort you choose to put into yourself, but some type of effort got to be made. And it just goes back to that. And the effort just doesn't start with your outer appearance. It really starts with your internal. It starts within here. Are you willing to do the internal work? Because a lot of people are not. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. A lot of people are not. They're not willing to do that internal healing, that internal work. And then you got some girls that slap on a lace front. And thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate that. So you got some girls out here that will slap on lace front, slap on some makeup, and still be just insecure inside. So it's not about an aesthetic. You can choose whatever aesthetic that you want to choose. I told you guys in one of my lives that it doesn't matter what aesthetic you go with, as long as you have the confidence for whatever aesthetic you go with. It could be locks, it could be a fro, it could be braids, it could be a lace front, it could be the Instagram baddie. Whatever you choose, you just need confidence. That's it. So even if you're one of those minimalists, you can even you just have to be confident. But that takes you putting in work. And are you willing to do that to become more seen as, desirable, or people want to be around you? One thing that I have learned with just working on myself, not just the weight loss, but working on myself, people are attracted to me. Like I could be out minding my business. It don't matter if I'm done up or not. People want to talk to me. When I was in high school, because I was very closed off, I'm not gonna, I was, girl, don't look at me. Like, don't look at me. Every now and then you would see my personality would come out a little bit, but for the most part, it's like, don't look at me. Like, I'm just here to go to school. Like, I'm not really trying to talk to nobody. Like, my head is down. I was considered to be a loner in middle school and high school. Some would maybe say a little popular because of basketball, but for the most part, like, I was a loner, and it was because I was so closed off to the idea of even associating myself with people, because mainly was because of my childhood trauma. Honestly, that isolation, locking me up, just was not good on my parents' part. I'm just being honest. And so whenever I would go to school, it's like, don't bother me, don't bother me, don't bother me, don't bother me, don't look at me. And I used to have that mentality, but now it's like, I walk with my head held high. I'm not always looking down at the floor, and people, they give me compliments, they say hello, how are you, and it's a different experience in the world. So it's just something to think about. Like, are you presenting yourself in a way to where you're being open to receiving? And this is why I do believe in the femininity. I do. I do. I believe in stepping into your feminine energy, not because of a man. I hope you're doing it for yourself, because these experiences I want you to have. It's about you having the experiences so that you can learn more about yourself. Did you hear me say anything about a man? I ain't said a man yet. This is what it's really about. It's about you, 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 you. I mean, it would be nice for you to feel desired by somebody, you know, by somebody. I feel like every woman should feel desired by somebody. I don't care if it's another woman. That ain't my business. You get it how you can. Okay. That ain't my business. But I feel like everybody deserves to feel desired, you know, um, in your own natural, authentic way, not no phony fake stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Make sure we're staying focused on you, and not what you think femininity is. Femininity is what you decide it is, as far as what your identity is, what your confidence looks like, what your self-esteem is. It's not a monolith. And we live in a society now where femininity is this mold that so many people you feel like you should fit into. And I'm never going to promote that. I feel like you should make it what you feel it is for yourself. And the basics, it does start with healing, because then you can become more softer. You can tap back into this side of yourself that maybe you neglected because you were in survival mode. It's just something to think about. But wait, somebody said Danny Lay will say differently. What? Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about, but I'm going to continue. Somebody said I'm well, girl, you could be whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Who needs a scientist when you've got your dad? For real, I'ma just tell you what my dad said, and he's not wrong. I brought this up a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, I ain't never been asked out on a date. I still don't have a boyfriend. He said, it's because you have independent bitch energy. Not gonna lie, I was a little offended at first, but then he explained it as basically, you're a boss ass bitch. He said, you have independent energy, like it's written on your forehead. You don't even have to say it for men to know. And men are not attracted to that. Men want women that will take care of them. They can literally sniff out if you are independent. So they steer clear. And you know what? I ain't even mad, because I'm not trying to take care of a grown ass toddler for the rest of my life. You can get that from your mama. You was not getting it from me.
I am requesting that scientists do a
You guys, if that's you, I'm gonna need you to come out of that. I'm gonna need you to come out of it. I'm gonna need you to come out of it. I'm gonna need you to come out of it, because you're pushing everybody away. Okay, you're pushing everybody away. And as a woman, as a girl, sometimes your father is not gonna always give you the best advice. I'm telling you that now. Sometimes you need to go to your mom if she's available, or you need to go to a woman that you trust, right? That you look up to, not these celebrities, Jesus. But somebody that you trust, okay? Because you're just, if you're in that energy, you're going to push people away for real. And it's not even just men, it's friends, potential friends. Because when I was in that energy, nobody wanted to be around me. Girl, nobody. Nobody. They thought I was self-righteous. I had this superior complex. They thought I was better than everybody, even though I didn't really feel that way, but that's what the energy was giving, sis. And so nobody wanted to be around me in that energy. Okay. It's just something to think about. It's just something to think about.
Case study on those of us that were never asked out.
When I went away to college, I was so nervous because I had never been on a date, never been asked out, never asked to dance, let alone to a dance. And now I'm 26, and all of that is still true. Now, most days this doesn't really bother me, but some days it really fucking does. If you didn't already know, I'm asexual, which can make dating difficult. And a big part of me doesn't even want to try. The internalized misogynistic and fat-phobic part of me says, why would they want you now if they didn't even want you when you were younger and skinny?
I have to stop her right there. You guys, that's negative self-talk. That is negative self-talk. If that's how you feel inside, that's all people are going to see. You have to understand that. And it's a scarcity mindset. It's almost like you feel like you're not worthy of someone beyond fat phobia and misogyny. You are, but you have to believe that. If you don't believe it, then you can't expect for people to come seek you out. So it's come on. And like I said, when I was in this energy, nobody wanted to be around me. It's definitely self-sabotaging. And you have to make sure that you're not doing that. First of all, I love her eyes. She has these big, beautiful, just bubbly looking eyes. Like she has a bubbly personality. I think there would be plenty of men out here that would love to entertain her, but not if she is carrying around that she thinks every man that she bumps into is going to have misogyny and fat phobia. So it's like, be understanding that there are men out here that are like that, but also be understanding that not every man out here is like that. And you need to work on yourself to get out of this mindset that you think that that's all people see when they see you. Because like I said, when I look at her, I'm looking at how beautiful her eyes are. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of men that see that. But if you can't get past your own negative assumptions about yourself, it's like it's going to be hard to put yourself out there so people can really see you, so you can be seen, right? And not just tolerated. So just something to think about.
And then the ace part of me goes, girl, this is a good thing. You don't want to deal with their needs. Still, human beings crave connection, and when you're overlooked by your peers for the vast majority of your life, it can feel like a hacksaw straight to your self-esteem. It becomes really easy to pick apart everything that could maybe be wrong with you. But there's nothing wrong with you. All those people that have been overlooking you just aren't ready to be with somebody as special as you are. And when somebody is, remember that your worth was there the whole time, even without them.
I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I think she needs to heal some of her childhood trauma. I do. And some of her adulthood trauma, because it seems like she has some adulthood trauma. And I'm not even saying that to be funny, because it's self-sabotaging her future. Y'all got to understand that. And I say this all the time, please make sure that you're not allowing your childhood trauma, your early adulthood trauma to hinder your future or to narrate your future. She's another one that's pushing people away. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, listen, nobody wants to be around that, because basically it's almost like being around a plus size woman that's not confident with her weight. Because there are plenty of confident plus size women, but it's when you're around the plus size woman that's not confident with her weight, and every time you get around her, and she's always complaining about how, oh, I need to lose weight, and it's like, Okay, we'll lose weight. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want to do, but it makes it annoying when you're always hanging out with that person. And I'm gonna go into another example. When you're always hanging out with that person, they're always picking themselves apart in front of you. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes the person uncomfortable. There was another girl that did this. There was a girl, she was slim, and she was insecure about how small her butt was. And every time me and her would hang out, she would always talk about how, oh, I just wish my butt was bigger. I just wish my butt was bigger. And she would always talk about how girls are, girls, she would always compare herself to other girls, and I didn't want to hang around her because I'm just like, oh my God, like, she's just gonna be talking about her butt the whole time and how her butt ain't big enough and how she wants her butt to be bigger. And it made me uncomfortable. So just make sure that you're not pushing people away with how you view yourself. It's not even how people view you, but how you view yourself. You could potentially be pushing people away, and you have to be careful with that. And that could cause you to be a late bloomer. And you guys, if you follow my spiritual tier, when I did my release routine, y'all heard what I was calling out, intentionally putting out into the universe for spirit and my ancestors. Y'all heard what I was like. You have to do the work, okay? So not only are you doing the spiritual routine, but you're also doing the internal work. You're going to therapy. You're also working on yourself. Write some note cards down, girl. I mean, you got to work at this. This is something you got to work at. It's not something that's just going to be handed to you. And that's why I said, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to? Because you can definitely come out of it. Oh, negative self-talk. That is so true. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, let's continue.
I am requesting that scientists do a case study on those of us that were never asked out, never asked any dances, never were shown any romantic interest.
Doll, can we have a little chat about this when I'm catching my breath on this hike? Because boy, I watched this video and there are so many of you that can relate to what she said. Let me see if I can bring a little bit of understanding to what she's talking about. Because during those developmental years, middle school, high school, even college, if our experiences are such that we are never desired, that we're never wanted, that we're not shown any of that attention, especially from the people that we are attracted to, then we determine things about ourselves, such as something's wrong with me, or I'm not the kind that is desired. And here's the interesting thing. We treat those as if they're fact. And then we base our life going forward based on those facts. So yeah, why would I expect someone to flirt with me if I already feel like something's wrong with me? Why would I desire to be in a relationship long term if that never seemed like an option?
You tell them, girl.
Keep in mind, our brain is wired for survival. You know, if you want a part 2 on how we can start changing that.
Those of us that were never asked out, never asked.
Did y'all hear her? Did you hear her? I'm glad I'm not alone in this. I didn't get that far to her part. Did you hear what she said? Now, there's a woman in my comment section that said, I don't care what y'all say, change your look, change your mind, so simple. And then life happens. You gain weight. Then what? You lose your hair. Then what? You better develop that confidence inside. Whether you're bald with hair, without hair, or with hair, or you have a small waist, or your waist done, changed because you done popped out 2 kids. Listen, you got to do the work. This is that fake femininity stuff that I be talking about. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just keeping it all the way real. That's that fake stuff that I be talking about because it's just surface level. Just all you got to do is change your look and change your mind. And it's not that simple. It takes real work. It takes real effort. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not, especially if you're going up against the little girl inside of you that may be broken. Listen, we all got some brokenness. It's part of life. And if you're going up against childhood trauma, some horrible experiences that you may have had when you were in your teenage years or your adolescence, like, you can't just brush over that stuff. Okay. You actually got to work through it, work through those emotions and feel those experiences that you may have went through. And I'm just going to keep it real. Like, anybody can cake on some makeup and change their look and pretend to change their mind to people and think, oh, yep, that's it. No, it takes effort, real work. That's why I said earlier in this live, are you willing to put in the work and the effort? Because if you're not, well, I guess you don't want to be I guess you want to be a late bloomer until forever. So it takes work. It's not reprogramming. And listen, think about it. Reprogramming, it takes time. You definitely got to want it for yourself first, for sure. But everything that I would say so far, everything that these women are complaining about can really be changed, you guys. It can really be changed. If you let go of that shallow mindset, you have to let go of the shallow mindset that was programmed onto you or forced onto you at a younger age. You have to let go of that, because how it was in your, I would say, like middle school, high school, it's not how it is in adult life. It's like there are just so many things that people are not really concerned about because they got bills to pay, they got things to do. You know, people out here, they got kids and stuff. Ain't nobody thinking about half the stuff that you think that they're thinking about. And as a late bloomer, you're stuck on that. Like, I know women right now that be tripping about what is it called, razor bumps on their bikini line. Girl, you tripping about razor bumps in your bikini line? Do you not understand that a lot of these men don't care? I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them don't. If they think they about to get some booty or some cake, girl, they will look past them razor bumps. But you think it's gonna be a deal breaker, and it's really not. He really don't care. Okay. Hyperpigmentation, girl, he don't care about that. I hope you know that. To any late bloomers that are on here, men don't be really caring about that. If they think they about to get some cheeks or some booty, girl, razor bumps, they don't care about that. So you got to let that go, and that means you have to fight through your insecurities.
Study dances never were shown any romantic interest.
Hello, I would love to join your support group, and I also have some thoughts about this. Having the experience of never being desired when I was younger just makes me realize how I internalized so many things about myself that weren't true or just didn't matter. Like, so many of my thoughts were consumed by, am I not pretty enough? Am I not interesting enough? Am I not smart enough? Am I not funny enough? And not just enough for men, but just in general, was I enough? And as I've gotten older, I've gotten over that, but it's just interesting to me to just sit back and reflect and think about how I really believed that I wasn't enough of a human being just because people weren't desiring me romantically. Like, that just so isn't true, and it's crazy how we internalize those things about ourselves. Another consequence of the whole never being desired thing is, like, now that I'm older, being in a relationship is just not a priority to me because my whole life it's never felt like an option that I've had. I'll probably make a part 2 because I have a lot more thoughts, but that's just it for now. I definitely understand this. I think another consequence of the whole never being desired when you were younger situation is not knowing how to interpret flirting versus being nice. So I always assumed, and still do, that nobody could ever like me. So if anybody's ever expressing interest in me, it has to be a joke. So I get pretty dismissive as like a defense mechanism. But at the same time, there's also this consequence of easily getting attached to anybody who gives you attention because it just feels so rare, like you're never going to get it again. So I think lots of people experience varying degrees of this. I have definitely noticed myself in unhealthy situations, even though I've never actually been in a relationship before. Wow, isn't romantic trauma so much fun? But I'm thankful for all my trauma because it helped me develop a sense of humor, so it was worth it.
Those of us
I would like to ask the last girl, does she want a relationship though? Because I feel like she's reacting out of her trauma, which is not fair to her. Not all attention is good attention. That is so true. She did. She spoke a lot of truth. But I wonder if that's something that she wants. It's almost like she just kind of accepted it, and that was it. Yes, it's somebody said double-edged sword. Yes. That's why I'm like, is that something that she wants or not? Also, to the late bloomers, one thing that you're going to experience, maybe not. I don't think it's a priority to her. That's why I'm like, you guys, if there's something that you want out of this life, whether it's personal, career goal driven, whatever the case may be, you have to put effort towards that. You have to. You can't think like, and I think we romanticize relationships to a point that it's not even reality. And when you look at movies and you read books, it's like they skip the part where they had to put in effort. Like even some of the sex scenes that we see on TV, girl, they was in the bathroom shaving and waxing and doing all type of stuff before they got busy. Some of them was taking showers, sis, but they didn't show that part. They didn't show the awkward parts where you may be getting it in and y'all switching positions. And it's like y'all may bump into each other, or like it's not always just, edited to perfection. So that's why I'm just like, I, I hope she changes her perspective. It's so scripted. That's why it's too scripted. So, and I don't feel like porn gives you a better perception or perspective either, or outlook either. I think again, you have to get out here and create it, but understand that um a lot of the things that you're concerned about is actually normal. It's normal. It's part of it. Like men, when they had their first kiss, a lot of them they were concerned about their breath stinking, or they were concerned about if their lips were crusty or if they smelled okay and stuff like that. It's like everybody has to go through that. Like you can't just skip past that part, It's part of it. No, porn does not help at all. It does not help at all. But yeah, and then also another thing that I wanted to talk about, because earlier in this live I talked about how you have to deal, like whenever you isolate yourself and you put yourself in this avoidance energy, you are neglecting yourself of certain experiences where you can gain wisdom from. Lack of experience is stunt of growth. So you may develop bad habits like codependency. She talked about it. She said that now, because she's a late bloomer or whatever like that, and anyone gives her this much attention, she attaches herself onto them in such an unhealthy way. And it's because she's not used to that. And that's why I'm saying, like, you have to put yourself out here so that when you do meet people, you're not latching onto them in an unhealthy way, like codependency. Codependency is real, and it's something that you need to consider. And that's why I said maybe you should put yourself out here more so that you're not out here just attaching yourself onto people that, that give you this much attention. Emotional attachments are real and they can be toxic at times. So I had to deal with that. That codependency is a real thing. And I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, what? What is this? I had to go to therapy to find out what it was, girl. So yeah. Attachments are not real connections. Exactly. That's why I'm saying you guys got to learn the difference. I know the difference now, but it took me going through a horrible experience, but I learned a lot. And that's just with anything in life. Unfortunately, that's the only way you're going to gain the wisdom and knowledge that you need is through hands-on experience. You cannot skip that part. And everybody has to go through it. Everybody.
That were never asked out, never asked to any dances, never were shown any romantic interest.
Yes, it does. I can confirm because
Y'all, this girl is so cute to be. She is so cute with her voice. Hold on. Let me play it again. It's so cute. Hold on. Let me start it over.
That were never asked out, never asked to any dances, never were shown any romantic interest.
yes, it does. I can confirm because I'm 27 and have never been properly asked out or even taken out on a date. Ever. Not in junior high, which, that's not really legit, but whatever. Not in high school, not in college, not in the year that I've been in grad school. It just hasn't happened, and it's definitely fucked with my head because I have a lot of social anxiety from being isolated and excluded socially and not being shown affection in the same way that my peers were. And I don't know how long that's going to take to unlearn. And it actually makes me even more anxious than I already am.
She's so cute, y'all. And this is why I made this video. Did you hear what she said? She has social anxiety, and it makes her even more anxious because she doesn't know when she's ever going to get to a point where she won't have this issue, and that gives her more anxiety. That's why I'm like, I don't want y'all to get to this point, and I be seeing some comments out here, and y'all think avoidance is the answer. Y'all think avoidance is the answer. And I feel so bad for her because I do. Like, I'm like, dang. And she seems like a sweet girl. She's so sweet with her little voice. I know, it's so cute. But I'm just like, oh my God, like, she deserves to be desired and seen. And some of y'all, come on, some of y'all don't even have social anxiety. Y'all just be up in the house. She actually has social anxiety. Listen, social anxiety is real. Okay. We're not about to downplay that. It's a real thing. And I suffered from it at one point because, again, my parents, they kept me locked up in the house. That's why I'm like, so when I did put myself out there in a social setting, I didn't even know how to socialize. That was part of the reason why when I would go to school, I'd be like, listen, don't talk to me. The fact that I played basketball and performed, I don't even know how I was able to do that, but I did it. But like that social interaction, I'm like, oh, don't talk to me. I've gotten so much better, but mainly it's because I've taught myself how to get out of my head. And a lot of social anxiety really comes from being up here more than you are in the physical, more than you are in the 3D. You're in the 5D. You need to come out of the 5D and come into the 3D and say hello to everyone and not think that, the thoughts that you get in your mind, like, why is she looking at me like that? Or why does she act like that towards me? Like, did I do something wrong? And it's all up here. It's all up here. And it's like, if you just come out, come down, okay? And just stay here. Just stay here and just socialize. I think you'll have a better experience, but it takes discipline. It does. This is something that I had to teach myself, but the worst thing that you can do is isolate yourself. You actually have to put yourself out here in social settings. And in my coachings, with my mentees, I tell them all the time, you have to put yourself out there in social settings in order to overcome social anxiety, because you have to teach yourself how to overcome social anxiety while socializing. And it's crazy, and it's scary. Okay. It's very, very scary. And I always tell girls that when you first start out, give yourself, like, go out and socialize for 30 minutes. You don't even got to be out all night. Nobody's telling you got to be out all night. Go out for 30 minutes and socialize, right? And just start there, right? And build yourself up to 40 minutes. Then build yourself up to 60 minutes. This is how I was able to overcome my social anxiety, because it was really, really bad. It was really bad. Yes, you have to stay present. You have to stay in the moment. And this is how it's hard, y'all. I'm not about to sit up here and make it seem like it's easy, but it's a transition. It's a transition. It's a transition, and it's not easy. And it takes time. It takes time. So, like I said, and if you can't even do 30 minutes, try 20 minutes. Try 20 minutes, but you have to stay in the moment. When you go out, stay in the moment. I think meditating will help you clear your mind. I think any form of meditation you can do. Y'all know I like to do candle glazing. I like to meditate that way, but there's so many different forms of meditation that could help as well. But you have to remember, when you put yourself out there socially, you don't have to be out all night. Nobody's telling you to be out all night. And maybe you shouldn't start off at night. Maybe you should start off during the day. Go to brunch, stay for 30 minutes or something like that. Just work your way up. Okay? You have to work your way up. Eventbrite is good for socializing. Okay, well, I didn't know. Let me look into that. I'm gonna have to look into that when I get off. I don't feel like clubs is where you should start. I don't, because those people in clubs are aggressive. Start off at like an art gallery. Start off at like a social event or something like that. Do not start off in a club, please. Do not. I beg you not to do that. I would never throw you in a wildfire like that. Okay? Do not start off like that, please. I beg you, do not do it.
I am requesting that scientists do a case study on those of us that were never asked out.
No, because I want to keep talking about this because I'm now just processing all of this information in my head. Using myself as a case study, here's some conclusions I've come to. Obviously made me super insecure about my looks and personality, even though I always had people tell me, oh, you're so pretty, why don't you have a boyfriend? And then that oddly made me more insecure as well, that comment. Reflecting on it now, literally never being asked to a dance, like, I deserve to be asked to prom. Like, showing up to prom pictures of the huge group of people and being the only one there without a date, low-key traumatizing. Now, as a 22-year-old, I still have no idea when someone's flirting with me. I just assume people are being nice to me, and then I'll have, like, friends be like, oh, no, they're flirting with you. I have no idea because that's just not a common occurrence for me. I never even had a talking stage or, like, hugged someone romantically until my sophomore year of college. And now I'm so disinterested in romantic relationships. Like, it doesn't even cross my mind or is like on my agenda for life. I can go my whole life without a romantic relationship, I believe.
Y'all, that avoidance is not serving you, okay? The avoidance is not serving you. The avoidance is not serving you, honey. I feel what she's saying though. Am I on mute still? Okay. I feel what she's saying because in the beginning, like I didn't know when men were flirting with me either. Because first of all, am I still mute? Can y'all hear me? I don't think she means that either. A silent party? I like how that sounds. That's different. Okay, I'm good. Okay. When she talked about how she didn't know when men flirted with her or not, I went through that too. I went through that too. I'm like, I'm like, is that what flirting is? I'm like, okay, I guess. Okay, that's flirting. Interesting. And how do you measure a man flirting with you? I'm trying to think a great example. I feel like a man flirting with you is one that's really giving you a lot of attention. I feel like a man flirting with you is giving you attention, making eye contact, and saying things that kind of make you fluster a little bit, that make you red in the face. You know when a man is flirting with you. In the beginning, I did not know. I was like, he flirting with me? Like, what's going on? Because I'm like, in the beginning, I used to think, oh, he just joking, he playing around. But that's because I grew up around boys. And so I'm like, well, they're always joking and playing around with me. So I'm like, what's the difference? But now it's like, oh, there is a difference. There is a difference. Body language is huge. You'll know when a man is flirting with you. Some of them, they may even they'll tease you. They may brush up against you or something like that. Is just something like that. Something similar to that. Okay, they shouldn't be touching you necessarily, but they may tease you a little bit, brush up on you or something to let you know that they are interested. Eye contact is major. I say eye contact all the time. If a man is making direct eye contact with you, he's definitely flirting with you for sure. You should not downplay that. In the areas that a man should touch you would be like on your forearm or something. Okay, maybe your lower back. Some of them like to do that, but some of them might be like, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'd be like, okay, sir, you're getting a little too close to the bum. Okay, I'm gonna need you to raise it up a little bit. Okay, and to any men that are out here watching, listen, if you want to touch a woman's back, I'm gonna need you to do it here. Okay, don't be trying to do it down here. Okay, up, not down, up. Okay, I can't stand it when they do that. I'm like, now you over here entering my personal space, and I don't like that. So Yeah, it should be in the up here in the middle of your back, not down here at the top of your booty. There is a difference. He should be touching on your forearm. Somewhere in this area is safe. Okay. This area is safe. This area. They may even if they pull you to the side, they'll like pull your arm like this. They'll like kind of push your arm over like this and pull you to the side. That's fine, you know. And that's why I'm telling y'all stay out them clubs, because if I tell you to go to a club, I'm literally telling you to go into a wildfire, and I don't feel like you should start off there. You should start off somewhere like a lounge type bar or something like that. Maybe something that's a little more laid back where they have games or something. An art gallery, I feel like is great. An event, like a small event, because they have large events and then they have small events. So just somewhere like that. Start somewhere in that area like that. Yeah, they may touch your shoulder. Yeah, so somewhere in there. But yeah, this pretty much sums up, being the late bloomer. I just want you guys to get out here and start experiencing things. Log out of social media. If you got to see me less, I'm fine with that. I honestly want y'all to come back with some stories, okay? And some of them may be bad. Some of them may be bad, but I'm gonna ask you when you come back with a bad story. I'm gonna ask you, well, what did you learn? What did it teach you? Because I could tell you every horrible experience I've ever had when it comes to a man or just in social settings in general. I'm gonna be like, girl, I learned so much. I learned so much. Girl, I learned this. I learned about the moon, the stars, and the sun all in one night. It should be like that. And I also learned these things about myself. Yes, get off social media and get these experiences for yourself and stop going off of what I'm telling you. Stop going off of what other people are telling you and get these experiences for yourself, because that's the only way you're going to create the life that you want. And if you're saying, well, a man has never flirted with me and a man has never given me any type of attention, I'm going to ask you, are you putting yourself out there to be seen? Are you putting yourself out there? No, this is my only blog plus Instagram. This is it. This is it. But I have to ask you, are you putting yourself out here in a way to where and it's not always looks, y'all. It's energy too. Are you putting yourself out here? Are you doing the work to be flirted with? I'm just asking you because yes, I went through a phase where I wasn't getting no type of attention, honey. None at all. And it's like a light switch just turned on for me. Boom, a light. That's what it was. And oh my God, I was finally seen. Now, some of y'all have to be realistic. Are you trying to be seen by shallow people? Like, you have to be real with you. You have to be real with yourself about that one. Because some of y'all want to be seen by people that are just trash. Trash. I said it. Shallow, vain. Why you want to be seen by people like that? I wouldn't want to be seen by people like that. I want to be seen by people that actually see me, and not see me for what I got on or what I'm wearing or my social media or status and all that. I want to actually be seen. So make sure you're not trying to get attention from people that ain't worth it. So, I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm like, you want attention from him? Why? Oh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So just make sure you're wanting attention from people that actually, I mean, they matter. They benefit your life in some way. Trying to make sure I'm covering everything. Do y'all have any questions? I mean, I think I told y'all. I mean, there's nothing to be concerned about. And listen, I'm not telling y'all to go out here and have sex. I'm telling y'all to go out here and socialize. I hope y'all know that. I'm telling y'all to go out here and socialize. That's it. You just listen, nerds are awkward and cute, but you got to be careful with them too, because some of them be on some revenge nerd type stuff. So you got to be careful with that. I'm all hot. No, back then they didn't want me, but now I'm all hot. They all on me or something like that. Be careful with that, okay? Oh, I got a story for that one. Yeah, you need to be careful. And yeah, they be having some good jobs. They sure do. They be having some good jobs. But some of them be on some nerd and seeking revenge type stuff. So you gotta be careful with that. That's what I'm saying. There's no rule book, y'all. There's no guideline. I'm sorry. Okay, I can sit up here and sell you a dream and be like, yeah, girl, just date rich. You'll be fine. No, that may not be the solution. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to go out here and freaking wing it. Okay. And figure it out. Figure it out. Take if a situation pops up and you're like, Yanni talked about this, then you know how to handle it. If a situation pops up that I have not talked about, then you just gonna have to wing it, sis. You're gonna have to wing it. And it's okay. It's okay. Because I had to wing a lot of stuff. It's okay. Yeah, be careful of the nerds. Be careful. Some of them are mean too. Oh, girl. Some of them are very shallow because they're projecting what was done onto them onto you now, and it's just horrible. Oh, hold on. I lost the super chat. Hold on, wait a minute. Major question in the chat. What about if men older than you approach 10 years plus, but not men your age? I don't see anything wrong with that, y'all. I don't. Listen, and the reason why I feel like you should date up, the reason why I feel like you should date up is because you can't expect a 20-something-year-old to be financially stable unless he got a really good job. Unless he has a really good job or he comes from a really good family. So dating up would be beneficial to you. If you're dating your age, you're not giving yourself a real chance, sweetie. You're not. Because then you're going to have to wait around and wait for these men to build. And, 9, 10, it may not pan out the way that you want. So dating up would be your best experience. And listen, I'm not saying put things past anybody. You can date up and still deal with a man that is just as childish as a man that's your age. Okay. Don't give no man no pass. Vet all men the same. I don't care if they're different in age. And if you're younger dating up, you have to understand that a lot of these men are going to think you're naive and they think that they can easily manipulate you. So prepare for that. So be careful. Yeah, 3 to 10 years that's good. That's good. That's a good range. There are some, I'm not gonna lie though. You may even look into some younger men as well. There are some younger men out here that will surprise you. There are some younger men out here that will surprise you. There are some younger men out here that are very mature. It really depends on how they grew up. There are some younger men out here that had to take on a whole household at one point, and so they carry themselves very mature. It just depends. Vet everyone the same. Vet everyone the same. Well, I'm not telling y'all to date nobody under 18. I'm not telling y'all to date nobody close to 18, but you will be surprised as you get older that some younger men are mature. Some of them are. Not all of them. Not all of them, but some of them are. It just depends. Okay, because I've seen it that way. Yeah, I wouldn't go below 25. If I was to date younger, I wouldn't go below 25. That'd be my cutoff. Some of them got their stuff together, some of them don't. That's what I'm saying. It just depends. Every situation is going to be different. Okay, on that note, I'm going to end the live. You guys have a wonderful evening, night. What time is it? And I will see you guys tomorrow. Oh, let me tell you the lineup for what's to come. Okay, so we're going to be talking about listen, I've been on it, honey. We're going to be talking about the BBL video that K Michelle put out. We're going to be talking about that video. This video will be on my Patreon, and it's about the video that's been going viral about the white man exposes black men. The video where he was calling them by the N-word, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that will be on my Patreon. If you catch it live, it will be for free, so turn on your post notifications. Also flagrant and flagrant 2 fresh and fit video. That will be on my Patreon because that stream was an hour long. If you catch it live, it will be for free. I'll probably chop it up and put it as like a regular video, but not the full thing. And then, yeah, flagrant 2. There was another one. Someone sent me a video of another YouTuber reacting to the Flagrant 2 and Fresh and Fit video. You guys, I'm currently working out my legal battle with, it's a mess behind the scenes. Just know it's a mess behind the scenes. Okay. So y'all need to, if you are interested in Patreon, you need to go ahead and sign up for that, because I see I'm gonna have to start putting a lot more content on there. But my Fresh and Fit video with Brittany Renner is currently, it's frozen right now. I can't do anything for 30 days. That's all I can say for right now. So yeah. It's a mess. So yeah, just make sure you catch my stuff live, because I don't have OnlyFans because of what it looks like. And I'm a thicker girl and I just don't need to feed into nobody's imagination. But I will say this, just make sure you catch stuff live, because that's the only way I can guarantee you anything. If you can't catch it live, it will definitely be on my Patreon. I just don't know when. That's the only thing when it comes to legal stuff. But outside of that, you should be able to see all content. But yeah, on that note, I'm going to end the live. Thank you guys. And hopefully you get out here and you start experiencing things for yourself and stop going off of what people are telling you online. And don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared about. You can handle anything that comes your way. And all you have to do is just use your discernment, use good judgment, use good character, use integrity, and you'll be fine. It is. And listen, don't even be embarrassed about being a late bloomer. Don't be embarrassed about being a late bloomer. If somebody is giving you a hard time about being a late bloomer, tell them to come see me. For real. Tell them come see me. Let's have a conversation. But no, you guys have a wonderful night, and I will see you very soon.